Good evening, sir.
Good evening, guys. Let's wait for a few minutes. Guys, let's wait for a few minutes. For 2 more minutes, then we'll start the session. All right, guys, let's start the session. Earlier, we had a discussion about the borders. Just let me know first, am I audible?
Sir, you are audible.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the margins, paddings, and all. Okay, first of all, let's start the session with this margins, CSS margins. Okay, so here the CSS margin properties, right, are used to create space around elements outside of any defined borders. Like here, guys, with CSS, we have full control over the margins. Okay, and there are properties for setting the margin for each side of an element. Okay, that is your top, right, bottom, bottom and left, guys. And this is the only serial number. That's how we use it. Okay, if we are adding any value, then first value is for the top, second is for the right, third is for the bottom, and fourth is for the left every time. Okay, in the margins and the borders as well, like in the margins and the paddings also. Okay, so let's say margin individual sides. So css has properties for specifying the margin for each side of an element. Like how we use it, uh, we can use like this also. Otherwise, individual, if we have to use it as an individual, then we use like this. uh, Margin top, right, bottom, left. Okay, guys, here let's say all the margin uh, properties can have animation, like guys, following values. First is your auto, then length, then inherit, then percent, then inherit. Yes, auto is the browser calculates the margin. Okay. Then comes length that specifies a margin in pixel pt that's point centimeter and so on. For percentage, the sign the third one. It specifies a margin in percentage of the width of the containing element. And the last one is your inherit. Guys, here it specifies that the margin should be inherited from the parent element, and negative values are also allowed. Okay. Okay. Div is it's a border 2 pixel solid black. Then comes margin. It's 100 pixel. Then 150 pixel. Top, let's say right is our 150 pixel. Then bottom is our 100 pixel. Left is our 80 pixel. Then let's add background color. It's light blue. Okay. Let's close style. Let's close the head tag here. Then let's open body element. Okay, and here in the body element, I'm gonna add h1, h2. Sorry, it's using individual margin properties. Let's close h2. Div element is so this div element has a top margin of 100 pixel, a right margin of 150 pixel, bottom margin of 100 pixel, and left margin of 80 pixel. Let's close the IV element here. Let's save it. Let's check the output. That's how we use it, guys. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, is it necessary to means derive everything, sir? Means margin top, margin bottom, or directly we can write one simple values.
For everything, yes. That is shorthand property. I'm gonna write next code for that only. Okay.
Yes.
So guys, our next is margin shorthand property. Like to shorten the code, it is possible to specify all the margin properties in one property. That is margin property. Margin property is a shorthand property for the following like I'd say it's a shortened property for the following these values, like the top, right, bottom, left. This is the serial number. Okay, so let's go for it. Let's say border this, instead of margin, this is 100 pixel. Just by adding space we can write this. Okay, here the margin short hand property, it's 4 values. Output will remain the same. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you guys want to use the top only, the right only, then use like this. Then bottom is this and left is this. Okay. There are so many values you guys can use. The inherit value also, the auto value also. Guys, you can set the margin property to auto to horizontally center the element within its container. Okay. And the element will take up the specified width, and the remaining space will be split equally between the left and right margin.
Sir, suppose we write only one value, means margin equal to 100 pixel only, then what will happen, sir?
It will take the right value.
It will take only right value, sir.
Yes. Let's go for
Oh,
it.
okay, sir.
Okay. Let's add one more 20 pixel. Top. This is top value. First is top, then second is 20 pixel is right. Right of the container, it's 20 pixel, right? Then let's add 10 pixel is from the bottom. That's how you guys can use it. Okay. Let's move ahead. Guys, let's talk about the margin collapse property. Anyone want to say about this? Actually, sometimes two margins collapse into a single margin, right? So guys, here top and bottom margins of elements are sometimes collapsed into a single margin that is equal to the largest of the two margins. Okay.
Sir, once again explain, sir, why margin collapse with each other, sir?
Sorry.
Sir, why margin collapse with each other, sir?
Why? Because this does
Yes,
not
sir.
happen on left and right margin, and only top and bottom margins are there that we can collapse, right? It is up to you, like why you gonna use it as per the requirement of the customer or any project. It's not necessary. Okay.
Yes, sir.
These are the things, the basic things that are not necessary. It's for your knowledge and for your usage. If you're having any project like this, you're gonna add something like customer asks you for this to add some margin in the different formats, then you guys can use these properties to create it very attractive. Now let's come to CSS padding. As here the CSS padding properties are used to generate space around and elements content inside of any defined borders. Okay, the same thing's gonna happen over here. Adding individual sites. Okay, the same thing gonna happen, and same values are there. Auto percent inherit length is not there. So I'm gonna use the direct code here. Okay, instead of margin, I'm gonna use the padding. 150 pixel, 100 pixel, 80 pixel. Now guys, padding is used to create space around an element's content inside of any defined borders. Okay, and CSS paddings, as I already told you, are used to generate space around an element's content inside of any defined borders. That's the thing about the padding. Everything is same as the margin. Now let's move ahead with the our next topic is, just hold on a second.
Sir, actually, I did not understand what is auto and inherited.
Okay, so I'm going to write one example of auto and inherit also. All right, in
Yes,
padding,
sir.
and the same example you guys can use in the margin just by changing the property of padding to margin. Okay, so I'm writing it down in the padding. Let's go for the margin. Just hold on a second. Okay. Okay, so here uh, let me take an example of this margin. Okay, border is 2 pixel, or let 2 pixel, let's say red. Margin is auto. Okay, and let's add the width 300 pixel. Use of margin auto. Okay, and let's say you can set the margin property to auto to horizontally center the element within its container. Okay, and the element will then take up the specified width and the remaining space will be split equally between the left and right margins. So this is our p tag, and let's close p tag here. Now here this div will be horizontally centered because it has margin auto, right? Let's save it. Uh, that's how we use the auto property. Okay,
Yes.
uh, same goes for the padding. And here div border 2 pixel, margin let's say left is our 100 pixel width, and greeting class E1, it's margin left, it's inherit. Okay, h2 is your use the use of the inherit value. Okay, we'll let the left margin be inherited from the parent element. Okay, then div here, let's add class p class p1 this paragraph has an inherited left margin. Okay, uh, from the div element. Let's close the p tag. Okay, that's how we use the inherit value. Now it's clear.
Yes, sir.
Is the output. Okay, so let's move ahead, guys. Along with the height and the width. Okay, our next topic is CSS height and width. So here the CSS height and width properties are used to set the height and width